Challenge drives innovation. The bigger the challenge, the more critical the unmet need, the greater the innovative power that it generates. Innovators in healthcare like EIMindA are driven to tackle complex problems, establish new standards of care, which by itself is very challenging, and revolutionize our ability to address a broad range of unmet needs. More than 2 billion people suffer from brain-related disorders worldwide, with an enormous cost to society. Because our brain is extremely complicated, diagnosing and treating brain disorders is still largely based on subjective measures and a lot of trial and error. Understanding brain function is one of the ultimate challenges, and in many ways it is the final frontier in healthcare. One of the most significant findings in brain research over the last decade is just how interconnected our brain really is. In each of our brains there are 100 billion neuronal cells that are connected in trillion connections. Imagine the brain as a network of complex streets and roads. The challenge, though, is to see the traffic on these roads. Every second there are hundreds of millions of neuronal firing and electrical communication flow among these networks that are responsible for all of our functions. Functions like memory, attention, sensing, speech, and even our emotions. So if there is a disruption in these networks, the effect on behavior, function, and well-being can be devastating. When EIMindA began its research for brain network activation or BNA mapping almost a decade ago, we recognized the promise and the impact of observing these networks of function and also dysfunction. This has uncovered the opportunity to revolutionize brain health by better identifying and monitoring disease progression, assessing treatment efficacy, and even, ultimately, maybe even rewiring connections that are misfiring. This work is now clinically utilized for head injuries or concussions, an area of serious public health problem. Until now, clinicians had to rely almost exclusively on subjective assessments of symptoms and behavior without a truly objective view into the brain's state of network function and the injury itself. Well, this is now changing. By observing brain networks activity, we can now see the difference between function of a healthy brain and the dysfunction of an injured brain. And beyond head injuries, this is opening the possibility to evaluate and effectively treat previously elusive conditions such as depression, chronic pain, or even memory loss. EIMindA's vision that a more intimate understanding of how our brain is working, how it is processing information, will lead to better treatment for patients who really need it most, is quickly becoming a reality. Pioneering this final frontier for a lifetime of better brain health is so important and can profoundly affect each and every one of us.